Hey YouTube, Kiritwick here, bringing you all an update to my Mikanko Yugioh deck profile for post-Cyberstorm access. All three of the amazing Defenders decks receive support in Cyberstorm access. Already did a deck profile on Pirelli. Next up is Mikanko. I do plan to update Rescue Ace as well, but I had a good majority of what I needed for the Mikanko deck, which is a ritual deck that focuses on using the many different main deck equipped spells with our different Mikanko monsters, whether they be from the main deck ritual monsters, and then the additional setup with our new main deck monster and new equipped spell, and then being able just to make it so our opponent takes any of the damage involved with our ritual monster, goes for the game style play that we aim to go for with finishing off our opponent. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the ritual, our main go-to boss ritual, we're running 3 copies of Ohime, the manifested Mikanko. You can ritual summon this card with Mikanko Kagura. It cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage you would have from battles involving this card. You can only use each of the following effects of Ohime, the manifested Mikanko, once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand, add 1 Mikanko card from your deck to your hand except for Ohime, and then discard 1 card. And quick effect, you can target 1 equip spell in your graveyard and equip it to 1 appropriate monster on the field. So we have plenty of the different Mikanko equip spells that we run in the deck, including the new Mikanko Dance Mayo Washidori, which we'll go over when I get to the spells. But 3 of this card, just so you have an easy ritual that you can reveal in your hand to be a searcher, and then just have an additional discard for any other card in your hand. For the new Mikanko main deck monster as well, we're running 2 copies of Huli, the Jewel Mikanko. Being a psychic monster also gives us access to emergency teleport to special summon this card out onto the field. If this card is not equipped with an equipped card, you take no damage from battles involving this card. And if this card is equipped with an equipped card, it cannot be destroyed by battle. So when it's not equipped, you take no damage. And when it is equipped, it cannot be destroyed by battle. And your opponent takes any battle damage you would have from battles involving this card. And while you control an equipped card, your opponent cannot target Mikanko cards you control with card effects. And if either player equips an equipped card to this card, you can add 1 Mikanko trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Muli once per turn, but not so much for the actual trap search setup. You just have an additional monster target to summon out onto the field using this card. You have more of a setup with this monster as well, being able to utilize it for your many different search power, being the psychic type, like I said before, and just an additional monster that you can run in the deck also for you to use for your ritual plays for your Ohime, the manifested Mikanko. I also run 2 copies of Hooray, the Sword Mikanko. With this card, if it's not equipped with an equipped card, you take no damage from battles involving this card. If it is equipped, it cannot be destroyed by battle, just like our Jewel Mikanko. And also, with this card, it makes it so any battle damage that you take, your opponent would take instead. And if an equipped card becomes equipped to this card, you can add 1 Mikanko equipped spell from your deck to your hand. Being a searcher for the good majority of the cards that we are running in the deck to begin with, you can only use this effect of Hooray once per turn. And the last of the Mikanko main deck monsters being 2 copies of Nini the Mirror Mikanko. Same restrictions for the equip and battle damage. And when you equip one on to Nini, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and take control of it until the end phase. You can only use this effect of Nini once per turn. So you have an additional option with this card to be able to at least have more of a resource and take control of the opponent's monster that you wish using your Nini's card effect after being equipped with a card on the field, and then the additional setup with your other monsters that we run in the deck. For the ritual support that we run in the deck as well, since this is a ritual focused deck, I also run 3 copies of Diviner of the Herald. With this card, being able to send a fairy monster from our deck or extract to the graveyard means we can either send our Elder Entity for a destruction play or a Herald of the Arclight to gain a search when sent there, and then raise the level of our Diviner of Herald up to level 6, which is enough to then use for the ritual cost to summon out our Ohime, the manifested Mikanko, out onto the field. Now, the battle damage for our monsters, since our opponent takes any battle damage from battles involving our Mikanko monsters, we are running a Kaiju lineup. So then they can be special summoned out to your opponent's field, and then you can just crash your Mikanko monsters into it. I run 1 copy of Gamma Seal and 2 copies of Jizukiru. Jizukiru being the highest attack point Kaiju that we have that we can easily special summon out into the field. If you wanted to run one of the other ones, I know Gamma Seal has one of the lower attack point ones, but it's just an option for a 3rd spot. If you wish to add in, you can put in a 3rd copy of Jizukiru or any of the other Kaijus as well. And also, for more of a tribute play, being able to take 2 monsters for tribute, I run 2 copies of Lava Golem as well. Not only does it take the 2, but it's also got 3,000 attack as well. It does take away from your normal summon, but you have plenty of special summon options in the deck for you to utilize for your different Mikanko monsters. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 copies of the Great Mikanko Ceremony. With this quick play spell, you special summon 1 Mikanko monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions, but return it to the hand during your opponent's end phase. And during your end phase, during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to send 1 Mikanko card from your deck to the graveyard, except the Great Mikanko Ceremony. So you have set up and search for your other monsters that you run in the deck. So even if you do summon out cards like Lava Golem, as long as you have cards like this quick play in your hand, you have a way to special summon out your other monsters onto the field regardless of the play. For our new equip spell, I am running 2 copies of Mikanko Dance, Yugioh Washidori. The equip monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Mikanko Dance, Washidori, once per turn. At the end of damage step, if your Mikanko monster battle, you can target 1 card on the field, return it to the hand, and if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 Mikanko monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And if you do, equip it with this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it's another good target for you to send from your deck to the graveyard, with the Great Mikanko Ceremony being able to then just have that additional monster for your Mikanko monster in the graveyard, which could be also a potential card to discard off of Ohime to the graveyard for you just to special summon back again with this card. I also run 2 copies of Mikanko Water Arabesque. With this equip card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects, and during your main phase, you can special summon 1 Mikanko monster from your hand or deck with a different original name than the equipped monster. If you do equip it with this card, then return that monster that was previously equipped with this card to the hand, giving you just different access to the many different main deck Mikanko monsters that we run for this card to then special summon out and return the other one to your hand, which can just then be used as ritual power. We are running for some of the one-ofs for the equip cards and the ritual as well. The 1 Mikanko Kagura for the ritual summon of our Mikanko monster out onto the field. The 1 Mikanko Reflection Rondo for the additional option to take control of a monster, and while you control a Mikanko monster, the equipped monster, you take control of it. And then the 1 Mikanko Fire Dance and the 1 Mikanko Purification Dance for the different options of special summoning cards to your opponent's field, and then being able to target that monster and 1 monster your opponent controls and bounce them back to the hand, and Fire Dance to special summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard to their field as another monster to be able to crash into with your different Mikanko monsters. For more of the generic spell lineup, I also run 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. We really don't use much for the extra deck, aside from the Herald of the Arclight and the Eldered Entity for the sends off the Diviner of Herald, so being able to use it just for draw power makes it a great addition into the deck. For search power, we're also running 3 copies of Preparation of Rites, just an easy search for our Ohime, the Manifested Mikanko, for the fact that we can also use our setup with our different monsters, being able to have the play with our setup of the Great Mikanko Ceremony. We can send 1 Mikanko card from our deck to the graveyard, so we can even send the 1 of Ritual spell we run to then add back from our graveyard to our hand with our Preparation of Rites. And we're also running 3 copies of Extra Foolish Burial for the additional search. Now, with all these cards, you should be able to have a good amount of send power before you can use your Extravagance to at least have a target for Herald of the Arclight, using either these cards or your Diviner to send them to the extract, from the extract to the graveyard to get an additional search. With the last of our spells being 2 copies of Emergency Teleport, since, once again, the new Mikanko monster is a Psychic type, level 3, that we can easily special summon onto the field using this spell. And lastly, the 1 reinforcements of the army for the option of being able to add our Fire Mikanko to our hand. If you wanted to run 1 additional trap to have a search option for Huli, the Jewel Mikanko, you can always mix around some of the extravagance numbers, taking maybe 1 copy of this card out, or even 1 copy of Extra Foolish Burial, since you do have to pay half your life points with this card as well. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. For the send targets, I run 2 copies of Elder Entity for the destruction power when it's sent to the graveyard, just to have the play of destroying a card on the field. And then the 2 Herald of the Arclight for the additional searches for either a ritual or monster or ritual spell when it's sent off of our Extra Foolish Burial or our Diviner of Herald. And also for some of the Xyz plays, 1 copy of Ghost Trick Alucard, 1 Leviair the Sea Dragon, and the 1 Zeus. We can easily get 2 of the level 3 monsters on the field, and then just overlay into them to get either a special summon back resource or a destruction card with these monsters, and then overlay with Zeus onto them as well. And then for the Link monsters, 1 copy of Wind the Wind Charmer, 1 Area the Water Charmer, 1 Heat of the Fire Charmer, 1 Lena the Light Charmer, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and 1 IP Masquerena. There are plenty of Link 2 options, but also in here just as potential banished targets for our Pot of Extravagance. And lastly, the 1 Nightmare Unicorn and the 1 Underworld Goddess. Once again, just potential cards to go into with the deck, but mostly here just for the cards to be banished for our draw power. And then as for the new go-to plays in the deck, if we have the new Great Mikanko Ceremony in our hand, we just need the special summon play, and then being able to have the play. You can only use each effect once per turn, so you have this, and let's just say the 1 additional monster in your hand, depending on which one you have. So then you can activate the Great Mikanko Ceremony to special summon a Mikanko monster from your hand, and then you can, during the opponent's end, during the main phase, you can banish this card to then send 1 Mikanko card to the graveyard. So you can send your Mikanko Dance with this card as well, and then have that play to banish this card to send it from your deck to the graveyard. So you have this card as well. And let's say you have the setup with all of this being, you could either go for the search power using your Ohime to reveal this card, adding a different Mikanko to your hand, and then going for the discard can set it up to then equip this card to a 1 in the graveyard, targeting it, return it to the hand. If it's in your graveyard, target 1 Mikanko monster in your graveyard, and then returning your Hooray to the hand, special summoning out the Water Mikanko and equipping it onto it, and then when it's equipped with a card, targeting a face of a card your opponent controls and taking control of it, or being that additional resource that you can use against your opponent. The easy setup can also just come down to being able to use your Ohime to originally search out the card to send to the graveyard off of the play, and then being able to, with this card, being able to reveal for the search to add a Mikanko card. You can even add the Great Mikanko Ceremony off of this card, and then have the additional search to special summon a Mikanko from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions, so you can even summon out your Ohime off of this play and have the return to the hand as well after it can do 1 attack and have your opponent take any of the battle damage that you might have taken. You also have the additional special summon plays, like I said before, with your emergency teleport to be able to special summon out the new Hele, the Jewel Mikanko, onto the field, and then with this card being able to have the different equip plays as well for your setup and equipping onto this card, having the additional search if you wish, if you did want to run the trap cards in the deck when you equip onto this card. Otherwise, it's just another easy target to use for the either summon out and then reveal for your Ohime. Again, discarding and searching out an additional monster onto the field as well, and then being able to use the additional search depending on what else you have in your hand for you to summon out your monster. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. Once again, it's an awesome deck from Amazing Defenders. It's definitely kind of overlooked with how much, Fire Ace or Rescue Ace and Pirellis have been doing in the current meta, but still definitely one you should consider looking into if you're a fan of the Gusto playstyle where your opponent would take any of the damage that you have taken from those synchro monsters you summon out in ritual form with these many different monsters. And we'll only be getting more support for this deck in Dueling Nexus to look forward to as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.